hot seat going into this season that you can see likely to get fired. Anything can happen. Players rise up. You can go to the playoffs. You never know.
Right.
I could have gave you 5, but I didn't want to press you too much on it. I can give you 5 like that off the top of my head. Number 1 for me, obviously, is Zach Taylor.
Wow.
I do think that he could be – I tell you what, I'll give 1, then you give 1.
Sure.
Since we're at that time. We're about 2 weeks from training camp, by the way. Like I said, 3 years, slow start in the last 3 years. They fired their defensive coordinator last year after 21 was recognized as being one of the hottest coordinators in the game. Whether it's his fault or not, you want to blame the owner and the general management staff, which he has a big hand on that staff there for, giving all these wide receivers money and extension. He does that to sell jerseys. Right. He's all about making that quick buck. He's not about winning. He just extended T. Higgins. They let more and more defensive players go. And they drafted Chase. Who was it? Jamar Chase, who's a great player. But they had Penei Sewell on the board. They could have taken Penei Sewell. I would have still taken Penei Sewell, as good as Jamar Chase is. But my thing is, Zach Taylor will probably be the fall guy if they start like 1-4, 1-5.
Wow.
That's my number 1 coach here that I think is on the hot seat coming in because they're so good at quarterback. What's your number 1 guy coming into the this league on the hot seat? Got a good idea, but I don't want to put words in your mouth.
we have to go and see who the worst teams last year, how they finished up. And since 2023, Steichen for the Colts I think he's the first one that's going to get burned and gone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, he's 17-17 since 2023. They got a new owner as well. I don't think who wants to be part of, I don't know what she wants to be part of and how she wants to do it.
She wants her name in the headlines, don't she?
We talked about her a few weeks back. So I feel like everything's pointing the other direction. I don't even know what they're
Carly Ursay Gordon.
Yeah,
She still keeps Ursay in her name. She's been remarried. She's 44 and she knows everything about the NFL. To hear her say it, she wants to listen to on the headset, listen to the games. And you should see some of the pictures the media's putting out. She looks crazy looking. Her eyes look like they're about to pop out of her head. That's your number 1. Yeah. She's ego tripping.
Yeah. And another thing too is like unfortunately with Richardson, he's shown a little bit of like flash, but he's been injured last 2 seasons. I don't. They want to maybe make him a scapegoat, maybe get rid of Richardson for some money. I don't know what their plan is because that's such a uneasy situation. That's my number 1 first.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So my number 2 would be.
I was gonna say Dable.
You thought I thought you were gonna say that. You threw a curveball at me, dude. I swung for the fences and I missed on that curveball.
Well,
my number 2 is Brian Daboll.
Yeah, he on my list though.
Yeah. My number 2 is Brian Daboll. Of course, 3 years ago, won a playoff game with Daniel Jones, but they've been picking in the top 10 the last 2 years. Was eager to move off Jones. They will be the number 1 team to have the duo between him and Shin, likely to get fired. Now, of course, anything can happen. They've had some big draft picks. They've got Russell Wilson now. They've got this young rookie quarterback. What's his name? The guy from Ole Miss there.
Dart?
Yeah, Jackson Dart there. They've got him. The question is their offensive line. Was the ball more of a one-hit wonder? Did they catch lightning in a bottle that 1 year? You could tell the owner's really frustrated with him and the general manager. They would be number 2 on my list. Who's number 2? Even if it is the same guy, who's number 2 on your list?
It definitely is Dable.
Okay.
Giants have been ever since he won Coach of the Year. They haven't seen their way.
It's kind of like the NBA. You win Coach of the Year, it's like a death wish, man.
Yeah, and they're nowhere near a playoff run. Even with all the players they've gotten, they made some really good moves to try to be relevant. but I don't think I think once the season will start, you'll see that they're probably going to have the same record or even worse this year. And they're just trying to reach by getting a quarterback over. I think they overdrafted him. I don't know. I don't see that team holding on to him, to those two guys. I think they both get fired together. And they should have never been here. They should have never been in New York. And I've said that since the day one.
Yeah.
That's number 2. And I think
that's
it's
number 2. Okay. My number 3. Now I've got 5. If you got honorable mention, go with honorable mention. We can go past it. This is a fun course right here. I love this. This is really good for July Sports Talk here. My number 3 is Mike McDaniel.
Why is he on everybody's list?
Oh, he's on my list, and I'm checking it twice. Listen to this screenshot that I had about Mike McDaniel. Dude, I'd heard this prior to the fact that when looking up this program, but Google AI with sporting news here, listen to this. I'd heard this going at the end of last year. Over the past 3 years under Mike McDaniel, the Dolphins are 3-13 against teams with a winning record over 500. In those games, they have struggled both offensively and defensively, averaging 17 points and 218 passing yards compared to 35 points and 292.5 against teams with losing records. They beat up on the bad teams. They get beat by the good teams, not to mention the lack of physicality on this team. You look at how they play in cold weather. Do you want to put that on Tua? Tua doesn't play defense. What was the last game? I want to say they got beat 38-7 against Kansas City. Virtual no-show, 1 touchdown by Tyreek Hill. Does Chris, I forgot his name now, Stringer, whatever, the general manager, take some of the blame as well, of course, but the team has gradually got softer. They've moved off of one defensive coordinator. They're on another defensive coordinator. That coordinator went on to go to the Eagles and become very successful last year, winning the Super Bowl. McDaniel's probably just coordinator material, but I know that's a fun, flashy offense. But at the end of the day, you got to start winning playoff games. You got to beat teams over 500. Jeez, man, 3-13. He's the opposite of a guy like Mike Vrabel. He does not really play well in these big games. Although we get fooled by all those fantasy points that they put up on these bad teams, Mike McDaniel could get fired because I don't think they're going to do anything with Tua. That's my number 3 guy.
Mm.
What's your rebuttal to that? You like McDaniel, huh?
Yeah, I think that he's at least had one playoff appearance. They need to win. They need to finish games.
Well, he's never won a playoff game, though. Yeah.
But he's been to the playoffs. So
yes, he has been there.
That's a lot further than some of these other coaches have been.
Yes.
So I don't know. I feel like if he's going to get fired, he's probably get fired after next season. He's not going to get fired like during the season. A guy in the hot seat. And we look at teams that don't do well. I think Carolina will probably be the guy.
What? It's his second year.
I know, and the thing is that there's no consistency. He took out the number 1 quarterback last year for a few games, and he put him back in. They're not winning, even if he's trying to do things. So,
you don't think Bryce Young was clicking to him towards the end of the season?
Towards the end, yeah. I just think there was so much instability there. The owners. Taft or whatever they Taffer or Topher, he's very very quick to draw. I'm not sure if he trusts Canals.
Hey, Canals, I was impressed with the way they finished.
Yeah, I like Canals as a coach. I'm not sure if they want him and they're going to allow him to just build that team up.
Okay,
it's not the coach, man. It's the owner, and we talked about
that owner he is a little bit of a knucklehead. Yeah, he's the one that's cussing at fans and stuff.
Yeah, we've talked about him before. I mentioned him when we talk about owners that
bit of a hothead.
The NFL should try to move on from, and he's on that list. So they finally got rid of the old Commanders owner. Now they need to move on from him. I feel like that area, the Fairfax, Virginia area, they had a hard hit with these former owners, man. It's just ownership. It's just crazy in that area. You know, and I don't know if the owner's a good guy or not, but just the way football business he's been doing, all those, you know, it's a bad team that has to get better fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the right coach, but at the wrong time. I think that's going to be the downfall to the coach. I don't think it's going to be the fact that he's trying to.
So you're just basically blaming this owner.
Yeah, I think he's not. He wants to win. I think he wants that young jersey to be a top seller. You know, because they need money. They need to make money, and I'm not sure what they've been doing. Tell me what Carolina has done in the last 2 weeks, in the last 4 weeks, to solidify Bryce Young, O-line, offensive prowess, and to solidify the defense that's going to help them in that division, which is not that strong anyway.
No, it's
right.
Not.
So they could.
They're a team. I was thinking about maybe picking the dark horse to win that division.
The Panthers.
Yeah, listen. This is what they did after Week 11 bye. They lost 30-27 to Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
They lost the overtime game. They barely. I watched this game too. Barely lost this game to Tampa in overtime. Then the next week they go to Philadelphia and push Philadelphia 22-16 game. Philadelphia, know how good they are.
Mm-hmm.
Gave everything they had, pulled off the gas a little bit, lost to the Dallas. Then they beat Arizona in overtime the very next week. They were a little flat on the road against Tampa, lost 48-14, but they win in overtime against Atlanta at Atlanta, 44-38 in a very highly contested game with Michael Penix was trying to break out with his come-out party. They outdo Atlanta. So this team looks they were very, very competitive, other than just you want to say 2 games, I don't know, in the Tampa game and the Dallas game. But the last 6 games, week 12 to week 18, most of these games, 4 of the 6, include with the Super Bowl champs, 1-score games, man. So I don't know. I like Dave Canales, but this owner, yeah, he's unpredictable.
Yeah,
he can do anything.
And Tepper, like, I don't like if they start losing and by a lot.
Let's see who they open up against.
I don't feel like he will have patience to stay with this.
Oh, at Jacksonville. Oh, that'll be a great game. That'll be good. It'll be hot, but that'll be a good game.
Look, the divisions to be
Bryce Young versus Travis Hunter.
Yeah, it's the divisions is to be had there for sure. You know, those teams are all building up, rebounding and building up. So you need to be competitive. But again, does Tepper have the patience to hold on to this guy and let the team?
He was very quiet last year. That was the year before last that he was doing those outrageous. He got fined and stuff. Maybe he's just on his best behavior, but Tepper could go back and be Tepper again. You never know.
Yeah, that's my guy. So you know.
Yeah, okay, that's your number 3. My bonus would be Shane Steichen, of course, for the reasons you said. Carly Ursay Gordon, 44, wants to headset on the games. Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. I mean, those are the 2 guys that Steichen's depending on. They did hire Lou Amorano. Their defense will be better. They got some pretty good personnel up there in Indianapolis. But I think this woman's going to make a name for herself. I got that as a bonus. And did you have another team that you thought that may be for honorable mention that may fire their head coach?
Yeah, I think Cleveland Stefanski. I think.
Yeah.
The ownership there as well. You know, they've gotten great players in the last 6 years to come into the system. They haven't produced due to injuries and whatever situations that they came through. And you know, getting the quarterback. I think after getting Watson, that deal, flat out didn't help at all. You know, and we'll see, man. That's a
good one. That's a good one right there. My last one here at number 5 would be Jonathan Gannon at Arizona. Although they were 8-9 last year.
I was gonna say they
They look good. He's better than I thought he'd be. I thought he'd be a disaster because they couldn't get a stop in the Super Bowl. But also, a lot of times, year before last, the Eagles had that year where he was with the Super Bowl, they had some really rough games there defensively. I was not impressed. I've been more impressed as a head coach. I don't think Kyler Murray could stay healthy. The expectations are pretty high for them this year. Some people are already calling for Arizona to make the playoffs because they've got some upgrades on the defensive side of the ball. I think Murray's going to let this guy down. And Bidwell's also a little bit like Tepper, a little bit more low-key, though. I think he'll fire Gannon. He's another wild card for me, and it's mainly going to be because of Murray, and they may be quarterback shopping.